Hey, good afternoon, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTubers. We are back live on HireMilitary. I'm Matt Quick. I'm the Director of Training and Development for HireMilitary. Today we're bringing on Ryan Jones today. He's in beautiful Florida, around the Tampa area, loving life down there. I'm sure he's tanner than I am because I'm inside all the time. Hey, Ryan. So Ryan's a Army recruiter, a talent acquisition person. He loves his job so much that he wants to do talent acquisition when he leaves the military, because really it's about helping others find employment, and that's what Ryan likes doing. So, hey, Ryan, welcome to the LinkedIn Live, and hey, tell us about your military career and what's next for you.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate being here. I started my military career as an 18-year-old straight out of high school and made the fatal mistake of listening to my mother. Went communications because it was safe and paid good. This is pre-9/11, and wasn't very happy with my life. So switched over to combat arms, did Cavalry Scout for about 15 years. And then I got the dreaded "you're doing great" email from the Army, which meant it was time to do something else.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Made me a recruiter. Luckily, they let me choose my location. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. My wife's from Indianapolis, and we have no desire to ever see snow again. So I chose Florida, and the weather has been beautiful.
It doesn't snow very much in Florida, does it?
No, sir.
Hey, so your mom was probably right, because she asked you to go to communications, which was a good move on your part. You chose after that to go Cavalry Scout, correct?
Yes,
Cavalry
sir.
Scout.
Yep.
And now you're a recruiter. So based on what you've known, how many Cavalry Scout units are there in the civilian world?
There's zero.
Zero. So your mom was probably right in doing that. So, hey, thanks to all the moms out there that actually push us and know what's best for us.
Yeah, who would have thought she was right all along?
I'll tell you, moms and dads sometimes too. So that's good. Hey, so you're in Tampa now. Do you want to stay in Tampa, or do you want to move somewhere else?
Like I said, my wife and I were completely over snow, but we keep telling anybody and anyone that'll listen, anything south of I-10. So we'll just take the bottom quarter of the United States, and we're good with that. Or Hawaii, of course.
Or Hawaii. So you're not asking for a lot. You're asking for sun and beach. That makes sense, right?
That's about it. I mean, what more do you want in life?
Yeah. So after Cavalry Scout, what do you do then? So were you an instructor? Did you ever have that opportunity?
I did. I actually got to be a WLC at the time instructor. Now it's basic leadership course, teaching the new guys how to be a leader. That was a pretty fun and rewarding instructing gig, because these guys are just starting to get some leadership, and it really can determine their entire future.
So what was the best part about being an instructor, or in civilian terms, training and development? What was the best part, and was there a certain time there that you felt you made an impact on someone's life that really came back to you later on?
Actually, yes. I went to airborne school late in my career at the 17-year mark, and my airborne instructor was a student I had in El Paso as a WLC student, and he said he was going to get out of the Army in the next year, but after meeting me, he decided to stay in, and he was an E6 airborne instructor doing great things with his life.
So I'll tell you, that's one of those things that the student becomes the master, right?
It was pretty cool. He looked at me and did that kind of funny look like, "Are you the Sergeant Jones that was in El Paso as an instructor?" And started talking, and I heard about his career. He was married, had some kids, and he changed his whole life from that class. So that really helped me. Good to know that I made a difference.
That's not bad. So were you a kind instructor, or are you one of those drill sergeant instructors that were tough?
I was the worst instructor when it came to toughness. You had to follow it by the book. I told them on day one, none of them would make the commandant's list. If someone did, then I probably failed. And I tried my hardest to make sure they didn't make the commandant's list. I will say I was very proud of the ones that did make it, because they earned it.
Okay. So that's good that you weren't so mean and nasty to him, because he couldn't reverse the roles on you in school, right?
I have a feeling I did the PDF a few extra times, but I can't prove that.
That's just for love. That's all it really comes down to. Hey, Ryan. So I see the flag behind you. What is that, and how does that correlate to what you do now?
So this flag is actually the room that we use for honoring the heroes. And what that is a nonprofit to give back to law enforcement and first responders. Basically, I started a nonprofit because I noticed there was a gap in the law enforcement community to show these guys that they're respected, they're cared for. So we went out and we got a really nice tactical bag. And then we decided that we were going to fill the bag with a bunch of resources for spiritual, emotional, and mental health, and give it out to law enforcement for free and just tell them that they're loved and we appreciate them and everything they do for our community. So this flag is actually the backdrop for when I do an interview with somebody.
Oh, so you want to do this interview? We'll switch roles right now. Come on.
Absolutely.
No, that's good though. So what made you start that the program?
To be honest, I was going through the retirement process. I had decided I was going to retire, and I started looking to see what was out there for veterans. You always hear that, homeless veteran, or there's a veteran on the street, and that kind of scared me. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those veterans. I should start early. And I, for a blessing, found that there's a lot of opportunities for veterans, which is a great thing. And I'm so happy to see that. And I started talking to a couple police officer buddies, and they were just jealous. They didn't have that kind of connection. They didn't have any support network that they knew of. And then a little bit more research, and I found out there was nothing in my local area. I talked to our co-founder, the pastor of my church, and he was like, we need to do this. We need to take care of these guys. And that's just kind of how I was born.
I'll tell you, that's a big deal. So I've got two brothers that are in law enforcement. One's a county lieutenant, and one's Air Force security forces. So I'm the middle kid, and those two were really, really outside people. I'm more of an inside kind of air conditioned kind of person. So I chose a desk job. They chose to actually work. So I appreciate you for doing that, and I'm sure so many others will actually benefit from that. So you have all this. So you're a recruiter, communications guy, instructor, and you're still giving back to your local community across the nation to a nonprofit. I'll tell you, you've got a pretty big resume, and those that see this broadcast either live now or later on, think about Ryan Jones as someone that you want to add to your organization, because he's an overall good guy, and he's a hard worker and dedicated. So, hey, let's move on. So how's your transition going so far? I know you're 6 months out or so.
Yeah, December 1st will be the last official day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a little behind, to be completely honest. I didn't realize I should have started about a year and a half out. I started about 8 months out. Surprisingly, though, the whole coronavirus situation kind of helped me accelerate my transition. I was able to get onto LinkedIn, make a lot of connections. I've talked to HireMilitary. I've talked to VeterReady, made some mentorship conversations, and really used that to kind of springboard my transition. Mm-hmm. So I've been one of the blessed few that this situation forced me to be in front of my computer and forced me to do all the transition stuff I should have been doing a year ago.
So instead of you overthinking things, you're actually reacting and getting things done quickly, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And your story is so typical to a lot that think that I know transition's a journey, and it's a process, not an event. We hear that all the time. But even some senior leaders think that, they've got this. So would you recommend people truly start transitioning 2 years out or even more?
Oh, absolutely. I wish I would have known what I know now back then. Instead of every single night making connections, and every single night working on my resume, and every single day talking to people in the industry to think of what I want to do, I could have already kind of had that down and kind of really narrowed it down to what I really wanted and had a better product. Like I said, if it wasn't for the corona, I don't know if I would have been able to catch up.
So I'll tell you, whoever's listening right now or watching this, just take heed. We go over this over and over again. Mike Quinn, Chris Thorne, Jason Willett, Adam Martinez, myself, and there's Herb Thompson. We talk about it so much. Start early. Mm-hmm. For me personally, I started when I was 6 months out, not because I was late to the game, because I decided that day to start to transition. I didn't think about it. I just did it. So if you're thinking about it, if your time is near, Start transitioning now and get ready. So 6 months out, are you going for one of the DoD SkillBridge internship opportunities?
Yeah, I'm actually working with HireMilitary. I've gotten the approval from my chain of command. We were just waiting to get the actual company that I'd be working for to get the memos put in. And then as soon as we get that done, we'll start the internship.
So who are you working with, Adam Martinez?
No, actually, I found out from our conversation earlier, I need to go ahead and do the first memo, get that in the books, and then get everything set up, and then get the finalized memo.
Okay.
So I'm going to get that done today as soon as we get done.
All right, good. So you got a little push then. Good for you.
Yeah.
So you want to do talent acquisition on the outside, right, in the civilian world?
Yeah, that's correct.
You want a big company, or because I'll tell you, talent acquisition is it's a good role to get into. It's not for everybody. You got to have good time management. You got to have good organization skills. It's not for everybody, and it can be demanding. So are you looking to do talent acquisition at a large company, small, medium-sized, government? What is it?
So I think we decided that government's kind of out. We are debating between the small company and the large company. There's a small company right outside of Tampa that would be perfect. It's close. I could do the internship there, but they only have an office in Tampa and Washington, D.C. Don't have a big desire to go to D.C., but Tampa would be great. Everything here is perfect, but the love bugs. And then we also were looking at Lockheed Martin, which is obviously a big name. It has 64 global locations. You might be able to go to Israel, something like that. We've been looking at what's best for the family, whether it is that travel opportunity, but with that, Lockheed also has locations that are up north and in the cold, and you could be in one of those locations as well.
So you don't want to go around snow. You don't want a big city. And talent acquisition is one of those roles. Like, I know Twitter announced today that they're going to have a lot of their people that they can work remotely from permanently now. So talent acquisition is one of those roles that you can work basically from anywhere. It's not a 9-to-5 job. Just recently, I was working with a company overseeing recruiting, and I'll tell you, it wasn't a 9-to-5 job. I'd get up in the morning. I would do my runs because you had to have a routine. You work at home. Do my runs. You get up and you do some sourcing. You have phone calls most of the day. You get on social media. You do some more sourcing. And sourcing happens all through the evening. So I would source people locally, overseas, and that happens until midnight each night. So if you're looking for talent acquisition career, just know that it's not a 9-to-5 job, and you'll be working some weird hours. And you can travel too. When all this travel restrictions are done, you can do some traveling, enjoy your life, bring your family with you at times. It's definitely a good job to have. So a medium-sized company and small-sized company, they're good because they give some good benefits. The pay is good, the benefits are good, and you can actually stand out within that company as someone that is important. Lockheed Martin, great company, great history. You can get lost in the bigger companies. So, as you decide this, I wouldn't mind bringing you on later on and as you transition and talk about it again and see how it went. So you're 6 months out. DoD SkillBridge process is going good. How is your other transitioning areas going? Well, no, first, you mentioned love bugs. So talk to us about love bugs real fast in Florida, of course.
I had no idea what love bugs were until I got down here. If you're from Florida, you've been through Florida, you traveled through Florida in the spring and fall, you know what they are. They're these little bugs that connect with their butts. That's why they're called love bugs. But they are everywhere. When you drive, your car will be black by the time you're done. There's been some times that we were driving, my wife fell asleep, and she's like, "Is it raining?" No, it's just love bugs hitting the window. And I don't know if it's true or not, but every car wash in Florida has everyone convinced that if you don't get your car washed immediately, it'll stay in your car. So people are going to the car wash once a day during love bug season, which is then followed by hurricane season.
So that's a good marketing campaign for car washes. Hey, these love bugs are dangerous to your paint.
Absolutely.
So you might want to consider opening up another car wash down there just in case.
I have thought about that.
Yeah, so I had love bugs one time. We're driving from, I think, Fort Myers, Florida to Tampa, and this one stretch of road, I thought it was raining, and it was just coming down and hitting these love bugs. And it was a rental car, so I didn't care if I washed it or not, and it looked disgusting when I turned it in. I even felt a little bad. Not too bad that I want to wash it, but I felt bad, though.
Yeah, you can pay the extra $2 to get the love bug removal at the car wash as well.
Oh, my goodness. They're really capitalizing on that, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
That's funny. So you're retiring, right?
Yes.
So you don't look like you're retiring from anything. So you must still be in good shape. You must still be active, right?
I made it a point as a recruiter that I was going to have the same philosophy I had as a platoon sergeant, and that was my guys weren't going to beat me. So I purposely tried to stay in shape, go running, do marathons, just to make sure the guys couldn't beat me. And then if one did beat me, I would just make them do extra exercises when we got back.
See, that's the kind of leadership we need right there. Don't beat me, you get punished for it.
Yeah.
That was a joke, everybody. That was a joke. So when it comes to so there's a question we always get about survivor benefits plan. And those who should take it, those who shouldn't take it. Listen, I'm not an expert in finances. Neither is Ryan. Are you an expert in finances?
No.
So what I did was with SBP. My wife and I, we had to decline. We declined. We chose to decline that and to get term life insurance. And it was a lot cheaper for us, and it made sense in the long run. So how was it for you? If you don't mind talking about your decisions.
So actually, when I first got on LinkedIn, one of the first connections I made was with Paul. And if anyone looks at my connections and looks up Paul McCartney, he will square you away for the life insurance plan.
You said Paul McCartney?
I wish.
Not that one. Okay, I got it.
But no, he sat down for hours, about 2 hours twice, and explained everything. Didn't even talk about what he did or how he was connected. Just gave us information. Sat down with my wife and I, helped us make a really good plan. We decided, excuse me.
Hey, lights are out there.
Automatic lights. Aren't those great?
Hey, we're live here, so expect these kind of things, everybody.
But no, he explained everything to us. And after talking with him, we decided that we would do the term life as well. We are going to decline the survivor benefit plan. And we did the 20-year plan instead of the 30. And that was just a family choice. We're doing the Dave Ramsey program. Our goal is to be completely independent financially by that 20-year mark, and we can afford any kind of disaster that comes up. But we went and got the term life before we started doing all the veterans prep and all the doctor's appointments to actually get out.
That makes sense. So again, we're not financial experts, but we will share our experiences for those that come after us, because some people make mistakes. Some choose SBP, some don't choose it for various reasons. So I would say consult with a mentor, consult with a financial expert, because they know what we should be doing, and they'll go over your plan with them. So is there any I guess organizations that you used over the past year to prepare yourself for transitioning?
Yes. So I've used HireMilitary. I've used VeterReady. They just what you were talking about. They're mentors in the corporate world, and they will donate an hour of their time, as much as it needs to actually talk to you and help you through. I've taken pages of notes from these conversations, and then those guys have actually found each other on LinkedIn, used their connections to pass out more information, and then people that weren't even associated with that program have been mentors and helped me through. It's been amazing.
So yeah, VeterReady is definitely a good one. American Corporate Partners, ACP, yeah. That's another great one. Onward Opportunity. Have you gone through O2O yet?
Yeah, so I've actually just got the first initial interview with them complete. Got all the paperwork done. I technically can't start until the 1st of next month because that's my 6-year part. But it looks like,
go ahead.
It looks like I'm going to do their Google IT program. It's a program for people that don't know anything about IT, set up by Google. So it's got the Google name attached to it. And I'm that guy that doesn't know very much about the tech world except for Facebook and now LinkedIn. So it'll be nice to kind of get the basics, and then that'll help in the recruiting if I do recruit for the tech world.
So you can definitely broaden your experience and get something in a resume from Google. That's not a bad thing. So our opportunity, they have all these IT certifications, human resources, agile, so many great credentials that are free. So anyone out there, Onward Opportunity, O2O, it's run by Syracuse University. Definitely give them a chance because it's free. It's for transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses. So they do a lot of great things. So there's so many programs out there to use, and don't bypass these things. But like you mentioned, mentorship is probably the key to transitioning. Just like our moms say to us, pay attention because they've normally been there and they were successful, and they know what's best for us. So Ryan, what else you want to talk about today?
Anything you'd like to talk about? I'm open for anything. Did we have any questions that came through?
So I'm looking now. So do you have a like an inspirational story you can show us that maybe your former student didn't, I don't know, pick on you? Anything you have from your vast career you can share with us?
I've had a lot of opportunities that could be considered inspirational, but one of the biggest things I've learned is to be humble and to learn from everybody. I've learned from the lowest private to the highest colonel, general in my chain of command that had something to give and some kind of leadership. And I just posted on LinkedIn, I think yesterday, the power of ask. I'm amazed at how much people are willing to help and mentor and guide just by asking. I just got a letter of recommendation that was better than anything I could have ever imagined, all because I reached out to a lieutenant colonel that I worked for and asked. And he wrote an amazing letter of recommendation. Those are the kind of things that kind of keep me going.
That's good. So I'm looking through the questions here right now. Hey, one of the questions is, okay, so are you doing your disability claim for the VA, and how's that going? Without getting all HIPAA on us, how's that going?
So I actually had my first VA appointment scheduled for June 6th, and I haven't been told if that's been canceled or not. Down here in Tampa, Florida, we had to schedule that about 3 months ago to even get into the June timeframe. That was right when I found out I was retiring. So they're busy. I'd recommend anybody get in as soon as they can and start that process. We'll see how it goes. I know I have 3 deployments and aches and some pains. I was that guy that never documented anything, though. I never went to the doctor. I never had a profile. And, I was always at work and I was always working hard. And so now I'm playing catch up and going to the doctor and trying to get everything documented. I had 2 MRIs this morning.
I'll tell you, and that's some of the most common, I guess, misconceptions about separation. I left the Marine Corps back in 1997. I bypassed all that because, listen, we're young, we're invincible for the most part. But as you retire and you separate, it's good to be checked out. Mm-hmm. It's not trying to get 100%, not trying to get all this pay. We want things documented because we're not the same person we were when we joined. And there's always changes over time. For me personally, I went to see my VSO, my Veteran Service Organization rep, DAV. They helped me through the process. They took me head to toe on what was wrong with me that I thought. I then took that small chart that my DAV rep did with me. I brought it home to my wife, and she added to that because she says, "This is what's wrong with you. This is what's wrong with you." Have you encountered any of that, Ryan?
Oh, absolutely. My list of things that were wrong were about that big. And then I started talking to my wife and it went to like this big, and she just kept adding things. She mentioned things with my sleep that obviously I had no clue about. And she's like, there's a reason there's a pillow between us because you kick in your sleep. And I'm like, man, had no idea. I sleep like a log. So
I tell you, our spouses know us best. And my wife, she goes, yeah, well, she says I snore, but I don't snore. I've never heard myself snore before. Another thing she mentioned is I have a hearing problem. I don't think it's a hearing so much as maybe it's a pay attention problem. I'm not sure though. But I tell you, when you go to your VA appointments, And this isn't to get over anybody. And I did a post, I think, last week, and some people, some senior leaders challenged that notion that I said, just be honest about things. And they said, listen, my friends were getting 50%, 40%. I was hoping for 50% because that's what I thought the golden rule was. Mm-hmm. So when I went there, my mentor said, just be honest. Leave your pride and your ego at the door. Don't go in there trying to solve some problems. They're there to diagnose you. I'm not sure whether that's the right word or not, but just document stuff, and then they'll make a determination. So I was pleased with the whole process. Mine was just before COVID, so I didn't have to deal with any of that online stuff. Mine was all in person. And just be honest, and don't be the hero anymore. I'm not saying go there and just malinger and lie, but just be honest. And that's one of the problems that senior leaders may have sometimes, is just the honesty with their medical conditions.
I would actually recommend, before you even go in there, is to maybe make a list on your phone in the notes section or something. Mm-hmm. Because I know for me, I'll forget about things, especially if they're either constant and they've just kind of tuned them out, or that ones that come and go just sporadically. So when they do come, I can like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot that hurts. And I just put it on there. So when I do talk, I'm not just going, I'm good. I actually have a list of what I want to talk about.
So I know one appointment I went to, the doctor was like, oh, it's a range of motion appointment, and they had you talk about or just bend over and do these things. And she says, did that hurt? I said, no, I'm fine. She goes, I saw you grimace. I said, oh. So yeah. I was busted. So I was trying to be that person. I'm good. But she caught it, and they helped you out a lot. So I definitely credit the VA for I guess their attention to our needs, and I'm appreciative of that. So I'm looking at some more questions here. We have some people in Hawaii saying hi to you.
Hey!
So if you want to go to Hawaii, Ryan, it seems like there's people that want you to join them.
My wife and I met in Hawaii. That was one of the few places that if the Army would have offered, we would have stayed in a little bit longer. The Army decided Fort Drum. They made my decision very easy.
So I'm from New York. I'm from downstate that I found it's called downstate New York. I thought it was upstate New York. So I'm from New York, and I was sent to Fort Drum after the Sergeant Major Academy. And I didn't want to go because I had to pay state taxes again. Truth be told, I didn't mind the snow, but when I got there in August, and I was already wearing a jacket. It was so cold there. But it snows between October and May. But I'll tell you, those 2 months of summer were some of the best 2 months I've had at Adirondack Mountains. It was so beautiful there. The water's clean, crisp, and just the environment. So 10th Mountain Division, climbing to glory. I totally enjoyed it up there. So Ryan, you made a mistake by not going there. Sorry.
I have a couple buddies upstate New York. They've invited me to go camping and dirt bike riding. So I'll definitely go visit in the summer and check it out.
June, July. That's when you got to go. A lot of history there, too. So if you're a history nerd like I am, you'll definitely like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not seeing any more questions roll in, so I think they're tired of us talking, probably me talking, but you can take over this conversation. But, Ryan, hey, thanks for joining us today. What are your final thoughts or final maybe tips to people that are transitioning after you or trying to get where you're at?
Absolutely. So, first, I just want to throw another little plug to the nonprofit. So if you get a chance, go to the website, honoringtheheroes.com. Take advantage of that free little advertisement there. But I do recommend people start early, start the transition, get advice from multiple sources. One person might have had a bad experience. One person might see you someplace else. And then ask your bosses, your peers, even your subordinates, where do you think I would be good at? What do you think I would excel at? I was leaning more towards security management, had a real conversation with two of my bosses, and they were like, you've got the intangibles of recruiting down. You can learn a company's way they would work and just go from that. You'll be super successful and you enjoy it. You love seeing people grow. They also pointed out in the corporate world, I could actually see them grow firsthand, unlike the Army, where once they join, they kind of leave, and I don't really see them unless they happen to hit me up on Facebook. So it'll be a really rewarding career. but I'm glad that I listened to people that have been there, done it, and got that mentorship. Else I'd still kind of be lost.
So I like that. So you're still going to pay it forward. And if anyone wants to reach out to Ryan, he's on LinkedIn all the time now. He knows the value of LinkedIn. And if you're an employer that wants to reach out, Ryan is open to serving or living anywhere south of I-10.
Absolutely.
Especially during hurricane season. So good luck to that, Ryan.
Well, thank you.
Hey, appreciate you joining us today. We'll be on again tomorrow at maybe 2 p.m. and maybe at 3 p.m. as well tomorrow. I'm going to bring on someone from HireMilitary to, I guess, do a little battle with, maybe a rap battle. So we'll figure it out. So, Ryan, hey, thank you very much. And we'll see you on LinkedIn soon, okay?
Did you say you're doing a rap battle? Because I want to watch that.
Maybe. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to promise anything, so we'll see. Hey, thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate it, man. Take care.